What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Apocaflix Movies. I am Jake, and that is Gio. And by the title of this video, you obviously see that we're going to be talking a little bit of Avengers Endgame today. And if you notice the spoiler, and the death part, and if you've seen Avengers Endgame, you know exactly who we're talking about. Yeah. Just ahead of time, this is full spoilers. We're gonna we're diving deep into everything, and so
yes, sir.
We're not holding back. So if you have not seen the movie, bookmark it, check it, come back to it after you've seen it, and then you guys can join in on the conversation.
Has anyone not seen it with the 1.2 billion?
I doubt it. I doubt it. I mean, I'm sure there's those few people who aren't really like movie friendly people, and then they see the money it make and how many people are talking about it, and they're like, okay, maybe I do need to go see this movie. But yeah, it's highly unlikely. There's probably like a 0.1% chance that anybody has actually not seen this movie.
Today's Tuesday. I don't feel bad for you if you.
I know, seriously. So, the title of the video obviously refers to Black Widow and Iron Man. So, the two deaths that happened in Endgame.
Yes.
And some call it surprising, some call it not surprising. I mean, for me, I didn't pick those two as the ones to die. Mm-hmm. I didn't think that they were going to be the ones to die. I thought it just always felt like Robert Downey Jr. was always going to be around. Yeah. It always felt like he was going to be around in some capacity, whether it was like in the suit, running S.H.I.E.L.D., running Stark Industries, whatever.
In a Fury role.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Black Widow, I didn't see her dying either because I felt like her role has it's just become such a big like leadership role.
Yeah.
But that's why it happened, because it was such a big an impact compared to what it was 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's not to say that I don't like the choices, because I think that they shocked us, but they chose some choices that dug deep into our hearts and kind of hurt us at the same time. So
yeah, I'd say the execution was definitely an A+, because you start with Hawkeye and Black Widow, and you know how close they are. Their relationship.
Yep.
It's.
And I'll say this: like, even though they weren't in scenes together, just themselves for a lot this movie, I felt like their connection was bigger than ever in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, they had more scenes obviously in like the Avengers or Age of Ultron or whatever it may be, but their scenes together alone, Jeremy Renner and Scarlett Johansson, were fantastic in this movie.
Well, yeah, I agree to that. Her character, if anybody knew what he was going through or what his next move was, it was her.
That scene in Japan.
If anybody could bring him back from that killer mind state, it's her. I mean, his wife is, spoilers, his wife is gone. The kids are gone, so it's her, and it made it that much more emotional to see them, fighting each other just to sacrifice.
Yeah, totally.
It's just, and I thought it was again well done. They pulled out pretty much every move in their bag, on each other, but just for them to see, the pain in each other's eyes, that. Stop.
Well, I also think that she has familiarity with it because of her past.
Yeah,
she knows exactly what he's going through. Not to the extent of losing a family like he did.
Right. Yeah.
But she comes from a very terrible background, which we'll probably end up seeing in a movie, which is more than likely going to be a prequel at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that those two together, and the choice of her over him, because obviously the movie, it shows them going to Vormir. They have to get the Soul Stone. They're the ones credited with getting the Soul Stone. Yes. But at the time, nobody on the team of the Avengers knows that you have to sacrifice someone to get the Soul Stone. Yeah. Because Thanos took Gamora there, killed Gamora in the process, but nobody knew why he killed her. That was never revealed to the Avengers, specifically Nebula, because she was the only one there. Some people think that she may know and whatever, but so they didn't know, and the fact that it was kind of like it was a big moment for the whole MCU overall. That moment of getting the Soul Stone and then choosing was pretty big.
Yeah. Now I'll ask you: had they known before, you think the same two people still go to that place?
No. I think. I mean, maybe. I think that she would have gone, but I think she would have found a way to make sure he didn't. Right. Like exactly how she made sure he wasn't the one to sacrifice himself, because she knows. And this kind of ties into it, but Joe and Anthony Russo were asked about why she was chosen and why she wasn't given a big send off like Tony was. Right. It's because one, the whole thing about the red in her ledger, her past, like she wanted to, and the fact that she's been building for 5 years to try to get the Avengers back together, it became her life. And so getting that moment is what everything it was leading to her to. And then as far as the funeral thing is like, her life didn't really call for that, and like she was kind of a hidden person, mysterious person. It didn't really call for a big send off like him.
I mean,
she wasn't well known,
assassin,
and he is this global figure.
Yeah.
But I like the choice because just the 5 years that everything kind of went on that fast forwarded, it was the moment, like they said, the moment that everything led up to her for. Like, you see in the Avengers how she's coping with becoming this team. Mm-hmm. She's still dealing with stuff. Avengers: Age of Ultron, they have that flashback thing. And she goes psycho, right?
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch gets in her head and she cowers basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it destroys her.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really has become her family, her home, and she never had that. And the movie reveals like she didn't know her father's name.
Yeah.
Like Red Skull tells her her father's name is Ivan, and she tells Hawkeye, I didn't know my father's name.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of led up to a moment that was really powerful and strong. It hurt because she's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Like, she has really grown on me as a character, and I love the way that Johansson plays her. But I think that it was the right choice, not just because Hawkeye needed to get back to his family, but because everything that's led up for the past 10 years and what it meant, her story has led her to this moment.
Yeah. I'm with you. I liked it. I didn't love it. First off, we all saw it coming. The moment they went there, we're like, okay, one of these two.
Well, we know that someone has to be sacrificed.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. And then with her solo movie coming, I was like, okay, you're gonna kill her off, and then you're gonna give her a solo movie.
Yeah.
I know. Obviously, we'll be invested. Will the mass audience be invested still?
Totally. What's cool about that is, 5 years ago, you see a Black Widow movie, you're like, no way. Yeah. She doesn't have the name of a Wonder Woman, right? And I'm not saying she's a Wonder Woman in any way.
Yeah.
But her name now is as big as Wonder Woman is in the movie universe right now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying comics, but as far as a movie goes, she's been a staple for 10 years.
Yes.
Right? She debuted in 2010 in Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2, yep.
So 9 years technically. She's been in 10 movies. Like, her name is just as big. Her solo movie may not make as much as a Wonder Woman, obviously. It'll probably have a much smaller budget, which is awesome because it's going to be grittier. But I would argue that her death scene in this movie may get people to wonder about her past if they end up doing a prequel.
The Budapest
thing. That or like where she came from with the Red Ledger stuff. And I theorized a couple weeks ago that possibly like it could lead to a trilogy of movies maybe that leads to Budapest. Like, maybe we see her start from this one thing and go into her becoming a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. I mean, the possibilities are endless, really.
Give me an R-rated Black Widow movie with Paul Greengrass directing.
Exactly. Oh, dude. That'd be awesome. Yeah. That'd be really, really cool. I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Off the topic of Black Widow, I mean, do you have anything else on Black Widow, or should we move on to the big one?
We can move on to the big one.
The big one. I mean, Iron Man. I mean, look, a lot of people have theorized it was going to be one of the big two, obviously.
Iron Man.
They've been the two leaders, right? They've been the guys who have... The founding fathers, if you will, of this universe, right? And again, I think that because once you know the comics like we do, what happened in the comics, we know that Captain America was the one that died in the comics, right? He's the one that sacrificed himself to save everyone, basically. Even though he didn't put the glove on in the comics, it was Nebula that did that.
Yeah.
It made sense. It made sense for him to do it because of everything the character has gone through. How he was the one to start this universe, right? And the fact that Thanos and everything that happened with New York, he's been dealing with in his head for 6 years.
Yeah.
It's been killing him and eating him alive for 6 years. It just made sense for him to do it.
He says that in Endgame, I saw this. I think
exactly.
It was toward the beginning. He's like, I saw this.
Exactly. Yeah, I think he's talking about the dream in Age of Ultron.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes. The dream in Age of Ultron. And I mean, the line, I am Iron Man.
It's so good.
It brought you back to Iron Man 1 and how
it's so
he
good.
Just owned
it gives me chills, man.
Yeah. But, God, you talk about, like, again, execution, as he's, breathing his last breath. He can barely talk.
Yeah.
It's so, it's...
That scene of him just being...
It's graphic without being gory.
Dude.
It's just... And then for Pepper to be like,
we're gonna be
to
okay.
Be the one.
That line, we're gonna
be
be.
okay.
Oh my god!
You could finally, rest now.
Talking about her and her daughter, obviously Morgan, and then their child.
Mm-hmm. It's just, oh my god, like way to rip my heart out of my chest and just, stab it.
Exactly.
Jesus
exactly.
Christ.
And I think obviously they didn't have intention of doing that.
Right.
But they wanted audiences to know, like, look, this was serious. The stakes were real, and he was the one who had to do it. It was always him who had to do it, and the whole process of it, where Doctor Strange puts up the one, right, and that makes you think back to everything that happened in Endgame, how Doctor Strange saw this stuff and he was so mysterious about it.
And Infinity War.
Yeah, or Infinity War. Excuse me, Infinity War. Yeah.
And
then you think back about those scenes about how Doctor Strange knows the entire time Tony's the one who does this, and he says, if you spare his life, I'll give you the stone.
Oh yeah.
It all connects, and the Russos are geniuses.
They're
incredible.
They're great, and the writers Stephen McFeely.
Yes, and they've been doing this for a long time. They've been on a lot of films for a long time.
Yeah. They've been in this universe a long time, and to see them, wrap it up so well. We obviously have to talk about the funeral, the send off.
So emotional.
I thought it was very, very fitting and proper to have pretty much everyone there, because. And
I like how they grouped them off.
Yeah,
the different parts of the universe.
The
right?
Guardians.
Mm-hmm. You have Spidey and Cap standing with Happy and Pepper.
Yes.
And then you have War Machine's with them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Pans to a couple others, some randoms, like a couple others that really know Tony behind him. Then you go to the Guardians, and then you go to Ant-Man and the Wasp and Michael Douglas and them. And then you go to Scarlet Witch and to Winter Soldier and Falcon. It kind of goes on. It's a really, really cool setup.
The kid from Iron Man 3.
And a lot of people don't know.
I knew.
See, and a lot of people may not believe me, but I knew right away the second I saw him, because one, why would they sit on that kid for so long? Mm-hmm. And two, when you think of that kid in Iron Man 3, how little he was and how different he looks now, it just kind of fit the awkwardness of it.
Yeah.
But it was really cool that he was included in that, because he did have a big big impact on Tony and how he transitioned from New York to kind of who he is today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just the symbolism. It's symbolic, because this universe doesn't work unless Iron Man 1 works.
Yep.
Iron Man 1 works largely in part because of Robert Downey Jr. Mm-hmm. So they all owe their, spike in their careers to...
It's 100% him.
To him.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was, I thought it spoke more than just, what we're seeing on screen.
It was a beautiful way to kind of cap it all off, and I love the way the Russos did the camera work and everything, and I love that, Colby Smulders was in there, and you see, even though, Captain Marvel's a big player in the game now, she was standing by herself, and then Sam Jackson came walking up, and even though those were their small parts, but the best part about it was the heart. Right, Pepper's heart that she presented him for his birthday in the first movie, proof that Tony Stark has a heart. A cool thing about that, and a lot of people don't know about this, but when they're doing the time travel stuff in the middle, and they put their hands in, it mocks his heart. There's pictures, because it's an upshot of their hands.
Yeah,
it mocks his heart.
Bro, that's like Snyder level deep in the MCU.
A lot of people don't know that, but that's the telling sign,
holy,
this is Tony's story. This is the end of Tony's story. It mocks his heart, right? They're putting their hands in, they're all together. He's bringing them back together, and then the final moments of the movie, before we see Cap with Peggy, is his heart floating off into the water with everyone that he has brought together. It's an emotional moment, and it's a moment that we've kind of been waiting for because of how much he's meant to the MCU.
Right.
And it was, they're great at action, they're great at thrills and intensity and stuff, but the way they bring emotion to movies, the Winter Soldier had incredible emotion between Cap and Bucky, right?
When he's punching him in the face 10 times.
Civil War, we never thought we could see heroes versus heroes fighting because it would feel like it wouldn't mean anything because it didn't feel like they would kill each other, right?
Yeah.
The emotion and intensity in that movie was unreal. And Infinity War, obviously, all the stuff that goes on in that movie, and then Endgame, the way that they capture emotion on screen is unlike anything that I've ever seen in a superhero movie, personally.
Yeah. Credit to Joe and Anthony Russo, because I didn't think... I thought the heavy lifting of Infinity War and Endgame would be too much. You know, I mean, we're talking about what 5.5 hours now of film, and they made it work, man.
It's beautiful, and you know, I don't think it'll ever be done again. Something at that level because of how big it was. Like the amount of stuff they had to put in Endgame. Yeah, it makes sense why the movie was 3 hours, right? But the cool thing about it is there's two things. One, the pacing never stops. And that's not to say that it's a very fast movie because there's definitely slow moments, but it's a good pace at that point. Yes. And two, every scene matters. Every single thing in that movie matters. And the cool thing about it is that it never felt long. It never felt like there was something in there that didn't make sense. Right. Or that, you know, why is that in there? Because it made it like the dialogue went too long in that scene or whatever it is. Every punch that was thrown, every conversation that was had, it all made sense. And it's something that like it's so cool that we got to experience it. Like it's something like this in film is so rare. I mean, obviously it's kind of the first of its kind, but like it's just a really, really cool experience to have.
I agree. It's like X-Men Days of Future Past times 10.
Yes.
Combined with Return of the King. It's like
it's awesome. But as far as the deaths go, I mean, I think we can both agree that they were the right choices, and that not to say that we wouldn't, you know, appreciate them taking a chance with some of the other characters, but I think it's the way they handled the deaths is what made them so impactful and so right.
And what it means for especially like Spider-Man going forward in his movies, you know, not having Mr. Stark there anymore, you know, that's going to have some emotional weight.
And we're going to see that in Far From Home. As you know, if we realize that the movie's going to take place afterwards. The timeline is a little bit weird right now because we don't know what's going to happen with that movie and the 5-year jump and everything that, you know, that kind of came back and stuff. But the impact on him and the impact on a lot of others. I mean,
Happy and his daughter.
Exactly, Morgan Stark. Exactly. There's going to be a lot of the characters are going to have. You know, Ant-Man was a big one, and even though he was kind of more of a Cap guy. He's going to have impact on all these people. I mean, he's going to impact on the Guardians and Thor and you know Rocket and Nebula because they spent all that time together. Bruce is a big one as well, and so it'll be interesting to see how the future moves forward for Marvel and how he's remembered. And I hope that it's included. I hope it's not just like glazed over, right? And that, you know, he's talked about and like, you know, Tony wouldn't want this or like he's in the background of like a picture or something, or they're doing it for Tony or another one. A big thing for the Avengers moving forward is that Doctor Strange never felt like a guy who joined the Avengers, right? Right. Never felt like a guy who joined the Avengers. After the stuff with Tony, he's going to be an Avenger. It changed his whole outlook on everything, and that's a huge thing for the MCU going forward because he's such a big character.
And we can't forget Rhodey.
Exactly. And I hope we see more of him. I really do, because he's an awesome character. I love how they've evolved him over the course of like in the last 4 or 5 movies, specifically once Civil War started through. His character has become really, really cool and very important to the Avengers as well, because he's like that military bind.
Strategist, especially now with no Cap or no, you know, Black Widow.
Well, him and Captain Marvel, the 2 military people. Yeah, they could be a really cool asset to the Avengers. I agree. So so Black Widow and Iron Man, rest in peace. Obviously, Scarlett Johansson and Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, but we do believe that it is the right choices for Endgame and moving forward because of certain reasons, and we explain them here. So we hope you guys enjoyed that. That's Gio. I am Jake. Check out everything here at apocaflixmovies.com, this YouTube channel, and we're going to be doing a couple of these different videos talking about where the MCU goes, what the ending of Endgame means for Captain America. This video, obviously. So check those out. A bunch of different editorials they're having fun with here. And then our spoiler discussions on Endgame as well, which are up on the channel now. So, again, thank you for joining us on this editorial today. We really, really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. Can't thank you guys enough. Gio, thanks again, man.
Thank you.
Till next time.
All right.
We'll see you guys later.
Hey everyone, Jacob Bartley here. Thanks for watching. If you want to check out something similar from Apocaflix Movies, click this video up here. If you want something a little bit different, check out this video down here. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to Apocaflix Movies and let us know your thoughts in the comments section. We always love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.